Hello, this is Karen, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the August 2nd issue of the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. First from the front page, area students get hands-on experience at Wayne Tech and Career Center's summer program by Devin Holdraker. Each year, juniors and seniors from across our region attend the Wayne Technical and Career Center, WTCC, in Williamson to learn practical skills that will help them become part of the workforce after high school. However, summer at the WTCC campus welcomes a new group of students, grades 8 through 10, who have an opportunity to explore different trades while earning not only valuable experience, but also real certifications. WTCC's Future Tech Trades Academy is a free 3-week program that allows students to dive into a wide range of skills, including general construction, manufacturing, welding, and heavy equipment operation and repair. Beyond the real-world exposure, students leave the program with their OSHA 10 certification, as well as their forklift safety certification. If bulldozers and circuits aren't their cup of tea, WTCC also offers their summer culinary arts experience that lets students explore cooking and baking as well as safe food preparation. Besides bringing home lots of delicious food that they help prepare, participants also receive their ServSafe food handler certification. WTCC Assistant Principal and Summer Programs Coordinator Nicole Sirens says the program helps enable the next generation of skilled laborers to keep our communities strong. These are not just skills, they are the backbone of our local economy and the foundation of everyday life. Last week, 19 Future Tech and 12 culinary arts students completed their programs and were recognized during a final awards ceremony. During her remarks, Sirens once again noted the importance of these trades. Each student here has taken an important step toward exploring a future filled with opportunity, purpose, and pride in their craft. Their curiosity, teamwork, and dedication remind us that the trades are not only vital but honorable. They represent creativity, precision, and service to others. Those interested in career training and the other programs available at WTCC can visit www.boces.org. Next from the front page, RG&E using goats to clear utility corridors. Rochester Gas and Electric is continuing its partnership with Kazan Ridge Farm using rescue goats for vegetation management. More than 30 goats will graze approximately 3 to 4 acres in a fenced-off area along transmission lines in the town of Ontario this summer into the fall season. When service is interrupted, it's often due to trees or brush contacting power lines, said Matthew Steiner, RG&E's lead utility arborist. These goats have proven to be an effective and eco-friendly solution to maintain transmission lines, rights-of-ways, clearing vegetation from remote locations that are difficult for our crews to access. By naturally controlling weeds, brush, and invasive vegetation, goat grazing offers an environmentally friendly alternative to gas-powered equipment for maintaining utility corridors. RG&E and Kazan Ridge Farm began a partnership in 2024 under a pilot program. The rescue goats are given a new beginning and a new role in the community. In 2025, the goats grazed 4 acres of tall grass and vegetation. This partnership creates meaningful benefits for both the animals we rescue and the communities RG&E serves, said Allison Sherman, owner of Kazan Ridge Farm. These goats are getting a second chance and an important job to do, helping maintain critical utility corridors through a sustainable and environmentally responsible approach to land management. RG&E plans to maintain a rotational grazing program, strategically moving the goats between sites to control woody vegetation and preserve clear access to critical infrastructure. The company says this proactive approach helps crews safely inspect, maintain, and repair equipment, supporting reliable electric service for customers. Next on the front page, Sheriff's Office investigates stolen funds from Walworth Fire Department. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating the misappropriation of funds from the Town of Walworth Fire Department. The investigation involves a former member of the department and began in February of this year. Walworth Fire Department President Edward Parkhurst acknowledged the investigation and issued the following response. The Walworth Fire Department was made aware of serious allegations concerning a member. We take these matters very seriously and are cooperating with law enforcement authorities throughout their investigation. To ensure the integrity of the process, the individual was placed on leave of absence and subsequently resigned. We remain committed to transparency and upholding the trust of the community. Due to the ongoing investigation, any inquiries or concerns regarding this should be directed to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Although advised not to comment further, the board did share their frustration with the speed that misinformation can spread on social media and asks the community to await further details to be confirmed. The department also says they have had a third-party auditor review all of their books. The town of Walworth posted a statement on its Facebook page noting they are aware of the investigation while reminding residents the town has no affiliation with the Walworth Fire Department. The Sheriff's Office saying in their statement, "As this is an active and ongoing criminal investigation, no additional details will be released at this time. Further information will be provided if and when it is appropriate to do so, without compromising the integrity of the investigation." Last from the front page, Wayne County Fair returns August 10th through 16th. The Union Agricultural Society is once again hosting their annual Great Wayne County Fair, 300 West Jackson Street in Palmyra. Starting on August 10th, the fairgrounds open with a variety of family-friendly and agriculturally focused activities, including flower and vegetable judging, the 4-H poultry show, harness racing, and live music. The week's activities also include pie and watermelon eating contests, rides and amusements, and the annual Demolition Derby on Friday, August 14th. For the full schedule of events, visit the Wayne County Fair website. Next, from the editorial page, In This Corner, by Ron Holdraker, owner-editor. A note to listeners, due to the length of the editorial, I will be abbreviating the reading, but listeners can call Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 716-821-5555 to request the full editorial. Again, from Ron Holdraker, owner-editor, Pardon Me. Today, folks, we're going to examine the presidential pardon powers. Constitutional provision. The pardon powers of the President are outlined in Article 2 of the United States Constitution, Section 2, Clause 1, which provides, "The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. He may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment." A pardon is an executive order granting clemency for a conviction. It may be granted at any point after the commission of the crime. As per Justice Department regulations, convicted persons may only apply 5 or more years after their sentence has been completed. However, the President's power to pardon is not restricted by any temporal constraints, except that the crime must have been committed. Its practical effect is the restoration of civil rights and statutory disabilities, for example, firearm rights, occupational licensing, associated with a past criminal conviction. In rarer cases, such as the pardon of Richard Nixon, a pardon can also halt criminal proceedings and prevent an indictment. A commutation is the mitigation of the sentence of someone currently serving a sentence for a crime pursuant to a conviction, without vacating the conviction itself. Okay, now that we have gotten through that definition, let's look at reality. It should be noted that the pardon power includes only federal crimes and not state charges for any individual. In probably the most famous case, President Gerald Ford pardoned former President Richard Nixon after he resigned from office. In one of his final acts before leaving the White House, President Biden granted pardons to Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, and members of Congress and staff who served on the January 6th Select Committee, including arch critic Liz Cheney. The sweeping clemency also extends to police officers who testified before the committee investigating the 2021 Capitol attack. The pardons protected several vehement critics of Trump, including some against whom he has vowed retribution and targets of his supporters' criticism. The clemency decisions are also significant for their emphasis on racial justice, wrongful convictions, and addressing historical grievances. Most of the impetus for these pardons were due to incoming President Donald Trump, along with his Republican power brokers, threatening to prosecute many of the Biden administration era. President Donald Trump started his term in 2024 by opening a turnstile of both political and monetary gains, granting pardons and commutations of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, a total of over 1,500. President Donald Trump issued pardons on Inauguration Day for people convicted for their roles in the January 6, 2021 riot at the Capitol. Few of Trump's pardons have gone to people who met the Justice Department's criteria and properly petitioned the Office of the Pardon Attorney. In May of this year, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche quietly signed and posted to the Justice Department's website Tuesday a one-page document giving Donald Trump, his family, his businesses, his trusts, and every Trump-affiliated entity perpetual immunity from any IRS audit. The one-page memo was signed today and was only made public by the New York Times after Blanche testified before a Senate committee. What Blanche signed is the forward-looking presidential pardon Trump cannot give himself, applied to his family instead. The Supreme Court's 2024 immunity ruling protected Trump for official acts during his presidency. It does not extend to his children, his trusts, or his joint filings. The audit pardon does. The timing is visible. The U.S. Office of Government Ethics disclosed last week that Trump personally executed 3,700 stock transactions in the first quarter of 26, $220 million worth, with match day purchases of Apple shares the day he praised Apple, Thermo Fisher shares the day he toured the plant. CNBC's Jim Cramer was handed the news on air Monday and went silent for 10 seconds. The audit pardon was signed Tuesday. These are up to July 6th of this year. There are many more pardons to come. I am certain in the waning days of his administration, Trump will pardon not only his family and close associates, but probably half the elected Republicans on the national level. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Also from the editorial page, the Thumbs Down column. Congratulations to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for his second appearance in this spot. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did his best to ignore U.S. desires for a truce in the Iranian war, ignoring President Trump's attempt to end the conflict. Netanyahu received criticism over expanding Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, even when Jewish settlers in the region began a wave of unchecked settler violence, has continued to sweep across the occupied West Bank, killing Palestinian long-established settlers along with Lebanese non-affiliated war residents. Israeli forces have also continued to commit near-daily attacks in Gaza and remain deployed in Lebanon. Fighting followed the breakdown of a memorandum of understanding signed by the U.S. and Iran in June, which saw a halt to fighting, the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and the lifting of the U.S. naval blockade on Iran. Netanyahu's government had opposed that deal and has favored continued military operations aimed at regime change. U.S. media reports, meanwhile, have fueled public perception that Netanyahu has repeatedly influenced Trump to take military action against Iran, including in the run-up to the 12-day war last year and the current war, which has stretched on for 5 months. Netanyahu's visit comes as lawmakers continue to mull a defense budget that would integrate parts of the U.S. and Israel's militaries, with the package already passed by the U.S. House of Representatives. And now for People News. One-on-One, the Times of Wayne County interview of Jessica Gavitt, Youth Services Specialist at Palmyra Community Library, former Adult Program Coordinator, former child care worker. I was born in Oneonta, New York, and raised in the small town of Bloomville, New York. As an adult, looking back, I see how wonderful it was growing up in a small town. Everyone was very close and always looking out for each other. I really enjoyed school and the experiences I had there, from being a captain of our soccer team to student aiding in my former first-grade teacher's classroom. I grew up with my mom, Mary, my dad, Brian, and my brother, Evan. My grandma and uncle also lived right down the road from us. We are all very close still to this day. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a first-grade teacher, or actually an elementary school librarian. I went to South Courtright Central School and graduated the class of 2003. Participating in clubs was a great way to stay connected and have a say in the school. I played soccer all the way from elementary to varsity, student council, varsity club, chorus, and really enjoyed being a student aide. After high school, I attended SUNY Cobleskill and received my associate's degree in early childhood. Then transferred to SUNY Brockport for my bachelor's in English literature. After graduating, I worked as a toddler and preschool teacher in a play-based, hands-on preschool. After that, I did also work for a campus child care center. I did take off time to raise my boys when I became a mom, which was by far my favorite job. When I finished college, I was dating my high school sweetheart, who happened to be living in the Rochester area. I stuck around, and when we were married and looking for a place to settle, Wayne County felt a lot like Delaware County, where I grew up. I'm happily married to Bill Gavitt and have 2 amazing boys, Henry and Daniel. I met my spouse in 6th grade at a middle school dance. His stepbrother was in my class and brought him to the dance, and the rest is history. Henry is my oldest and headed into 9th grade. He enjoys the outdoors, soccer, and video games. Daniel is my second, and he really enjoys art and music and loves to be creative. Currently, I'm a youth services specialist at the Palmyra Community Library. Previously, I was working here as the adult program coordinator, and when the youth position became available, I decided that would be a good fit and transitioned into the position right in time for our summer reading program. My family is very influential in my life, immediate and found family. I surround myself with people who do good and want better for those around them, and I think that's pretty awesome. I belong to a couple of different book clubs. I enjoy reading, cooking, baking, beekeeping, and being outside. Typically, I have a big garden, but I'm taking this year off from that. We travel, but tend to stay in the States, although we do love visiting Canada and plan to travel more now that my boys are older and will enjoy it. You asked, what is the meaning of life to you? Do you feel you have a purpose? I think the meaning of life changes as we do. For a long time, my purpose was to give back, whether that be to family, community with teaching, or being a helper. When I became a mom, my purpose was very clear in those moments that the most important thing was to be the best mom I could be. Now my purpose has shifted again, and it's to give my boys the space they need to grow and learn while helping to guide those in my community through my new role at the library. Next, in People News, congratulations to Destiny Ann Gurley of Newark on the birth of her daughter. Anastasia Evans was born May 7th. She weighed 6 pounds 12 ounces. Baby Anastasia was welcomed home by siblings Nevia, Matthew, and Gabriel, and grandmother Donna Gurley. Kettering University awarded 347 bachelor's degrees during its 26th commencement ceremony on June 20th, setting the stage for these graduates to take on roles as leaders and innovators across a breadth of industries, including mobility, new energy vehicles, intelligent manufacturing, and AI and sustainability. Those graduates include local students Scott Frederick of Walworth, Trevor Kijowski of Ontario, and Evan Schugertz of Ontario. Scott Frederick was also named to Kettering University's Spring 26 Dean's List. He is majoring in mechanical engineering. SUNY Oswego recently recognized several Wayne County residents as high academic achievers on its President's List and Dean's List for the Spring 26 semester. Students on the President's List include Annalise M. Allman Williamson, Human Resource Management, Anna R. Baker, Ontario Business Administration, Davina L. Bug, Newark Business Administration, David G. Colley, Palmyra, Music, Audio Recording and Production, Emily J. McFarlane, Palmyra, Creative Writing Theater, Jack A. Molisani, Savannah, Information Science, Mackenzie A. Morissette, Red Creek, Accounting, Nicholas A. Napoleon, Palmyra, Cinema and Screen Studies, Kayla Ulrich, Lyons, Psychology, Amelia J. Page, Palmyra, Anthropology, Brady Panates of Ontario, Music, Audio Recording and Production, Andrew K. Saylor, Macedon, Biology, David B. Southwick, Red Creek, Technology Education, Daniel Starizak, Macedon, Sociology, Preston Van Duzen, SOTUS, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Whitney M. Wilson, North Rose, Creative Writing. Also in People News, the SOTUS Central School District Board of Education appointed Michael Ferris as the district's next superintendent at a special meeting on Monday, July 27th. Mr. Ferris will begin his new role effective August 17th. Following an extensive search that attracted a strong pool of highly qualified candidates, the board selected Ferris to lead the district into its next chapter. He succeeds longtime Superintendent Nelson Keyes, who is retiring after 10 years of dedicated service. Across 25 years as an educator, Ferris has gained extensive experience as a classroom teacher, assistant principal, lead principal, and athletic coach. He comes to SOTUS from the Greece Central School District, where he spent the last 7 years as principal of Autumn Lane Elementary School. Outside of his professional role, Ferris and his wife Katie have 5 children and 2 grandchildren. In his free time, he enjoys camping, hiking, going to Buffalo Bills games, and looks forward to becoming an active member of the SOTUS community. Last from the People page, how can every child in Wayne County get a free book every month? The Macedon Public Library is reaching out with a priceless opportunity, says Stacy Wixall, Director, Macedon Public Library. It is the sort of rare occasion that can positively impact the future for children, families, communities, and Wayne County as a whole for generations to come. There is a grant-funded opportunity to offer the Dolly Parton Imagination Library across Wayne County. Imagine every child, regardless of income or circumstance, receiving a brand new, age appropriate book delivered directly to their mailbox every month from birth until their 5th birthday. That dream is already becoming a reality. The Macedon Public Library currently coordinates with the Dollywood Foundation to offer the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for children in the Macedon and Palmyra communities. More than 200 Palmac children have been building their own home libraries since last November, one book at a time, thanks to a grant from New York State and donations from both local organizations and community members. Now there is an opportunity to do something extraordinary. The New York State Library has awarded the Macedon Public Library a $19,500 matching grant. If Wayne County communities are able to raise matching funds, the impact will be transformational. Instead of serving only Macedon and Palmyra, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library can expand to every zip code in Wayne County. Why it matters? A child's first teacher is their family. Reading together during the earliest years builds vocabulary, strengthens school readiness, encourages imagination, and creates lasting family memories. Research consistently shows that children who are surrounded by books and are read to regularly enter school ready to succeed. Thanks to the matching grant, every dollar given helps unlock an even greater investment in the future of Wayne County's most precious resource. How you can help? Individuals, families, businesses, civic organizations, churches, and community leaders across Wayne County are encouraged to become a part of this countywide effort. No gift is too small. Every donation brings the reality one step closer. If you are interested in donating, checks may be made payable to Macedon Public Library, attention Stacy Wixall, 30 West Main Street, Macedon 14502, or donations may also be brought to the library. To qualify for the New York State matching grant, all donations will be securely held by the Macedon Public Library until New York State instructs them to forward the funds. Do not donate funds online, as online donations will not count toward the matching fund goal. Only those donations collected by the library and submitted as a lump sum on the state designated date will qualify toward the match. The goal is to receive the match of $19,500 by September 1st, 2026. From the local events page, community event at Wolcott's Palace Theater. The new owners of the Wolcott Palace Theater are planning to use the theater as a community center for all kinds of cultural events. One program they have coming up in the next 2 weeks is called You Saw It First in Wolcott, sponsored by the Wolcott Historical Society. They are presenting project movies they have been working on and are presenting them free of charge to the public before they go nationwide. Jeremiah James Schallberg, Frank Licari, and Ashley Clark have very interesting backgrounds in the entertainment world. On August 4th, for one night only, Daryl F. Zanuck's Drums Along the Mohawk will be presented at 6 p.m. There will be trivia and prizes. A suggested donation to the Wolcott Historical Society is $5. Next, we have a notice for the Newark Rotary Foundation cash raffle. Prizes ranging from $4,000 down to $500. Tickets $100, need not be present to win. Drawing Saturday, August 22nd, 2026 at the Newark Family Festival. Only 250 tickets will be sold. All prizes are guaranteed. To purchase your ticket, call or text Jan Hentz at 315-573-0617, or tickets available at Joey's Northside or Bodine's Liquor. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And now for the obituaries. From Savannah, Marcia Brundage, 77. From Butler, Savannah, Barbara Noble Harper, 84. From SOTUS, Elizabeth Hobby Jones, 88. From Williamson, Lucille A. Tellier Manahan, 89. From SOTUS, Thomas M. Parker, 74. From Marion, Wayne H. Schulz, 77. From SOTUS, Terry Corney. From New York, Pennsylvania, Sally Marie Merritt Walsh, 89. From Palmyra, Macedon, Olga White, 88. For obituary details, listeners can call Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 716-821-5555. Next, from the Senior Moments page, Senior Newsline by Matilda Charles, The Danger of Old Cookware. When I was expecting a large crowd, I needed to pull out all of my old cookware and see if I had enough pieces. Yes, I had enough pieces. No, I didn't just wash them up and start cooking. Some of the pots and pans were so old, I was concerned about PFAS, PFOA, and PTFE, and whether my cookware was manufactured when use of those chemicals was common. I went online, and boy, did I learn some things. The label on my supposedly free of PFOA pans doesn't necessarily mean they're safe, because other chemicals could be present. It's the same with free of PTFE, the nonstick compound used in pots and pans. The reason? PFOA and PTFE are only 2 of 9,000 different PFAS chemicals. To explain, PFAS is called a forever chemical because it takes nearly forever to break down in the environment and in our bodies. Long-term use can lead to serious health complications. PFOA is where the age of some of my cookware became a problem. PFOA is now illegal to use in the manufacture of cookware and has been since 2015. A pan will be especially problematic if it has scratches or is used on high heat. PTFE, on the other hand, is still used. It's the compound that makes your pans non-stick, and it's unregulated. And when you heat PTFE, you get PFAS and toxic fumes. So what do we do other than panic when we clearly need to replace our kitchen cookware with something that's safe to use? If we want to change our cookware, we need to be certain we purchase pieces that really are PTFE free and PFAS free. Best bets are stainless steel, titanium, no coating, and ceramic coated pieces. Be sure to research each one you consider. To get up to speed on these chemicals before you shop, you can see the LeafScore website, Defend Our Health website, mayoclinic.org, or cancer.org. And as always, this week's lunch at Club 60 Senior Centers. Lunch Club 60 Senior Centers are located in SOTUS, Ontario, Clyde, Palmyra, and Newark. The Lunch Club locations are strictly eat-in. Please contact a center manager between 9:30 and 11 a.m. to reserve your meal. Please call the day prior for the meal you want. Our agency is available to answer any questions at 315-946-5624. Our next article, The Sludge War Reaches Wayne County. Town of Butler highlighted. A one-night-only special screening of The Sludge War is coming to the Omen Theater in Lyons, New York on Wednesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. The Sludge War is a 5-year investigative documentary that started when a woman discovered that her community was built on a toxic substance that had intentionally been buried there. What began as a personal search for answers expanded into a national investigation, exposing one of the most consequential environmental cover-ups in U.S. history. Through never-before-seen depositions, interviews with insiders, and testimony from some of the most respected scientific minds in the field, The film reveals how this dangerous material was intentionally woven into everyday life across the country, ultimately entering our homes, farms, and schools. The documentary tour comes to Lyons at 5 p.m. with a red carpet welcome, followed by a complimentary special screening of the 80-minute film at 6 p.m. There will be a post-screening Q&A with the director, Galassia Grassetto, and special guests, including an esteemed professor from Cornell University and representatives from the town of Butler, Wayne County, whose community successfully stopped this material from being processed in their town. They will share what they learned and how other communities can protect themselves. For more information and to RSVP for this event, visit www.thesludgewar.com/New York. Our next article, Community Clothing Center in Wolcott collecting backpacks. The Community Clothing Center located in Wolcott is collecting new backpacks to be distributed to students and others in need starting August 15th. Backpacks of all sizes will be accepted, and solid colors are greatly appreciated. Contributions of backpacks may be dropped off at the Community Clothing Center during its operating hours or at the Catholic Charities Office in Newark at 180 East Union Street. Large-scale collections or contributions can be arranged by contacting Catholic Charities at 315-789-2235. Catholic Charities of the Finger Lakes administers the Community Clothing Center. It is managed and staffed by a dedicated team of volunteers. The Community Clothing Center is located on East Main Street in Wolcott. It is open to the public on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon. Contributions are accepted at the center during its operating hours or to any Catholic Charities of the Finger Lakes office. Next, we have a photo caption. Reliant Credit Union recently donated $2,500 to Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity, a contribution that will support the construction of homes that empower local families to achieve lasting stability and independence. Members of the Reliant Credit Union team presented the donation check to Kim Brumber, CEO of Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity, on Friday, July 17th, at a job site where members of the Reliant team were also volunteering for the day to help build a home. Volunteering alongside Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity gives Reliant staff the opportunity to make a direct personal impact and further reflects the credit union's dedication to helping communities thrive. Our next article, Family Nurse Practitioner Joins OBGYN Practice. University of Rochester Medicine Thompson Health recently welcomed board-certified family nurse practitioner Dixie Kendall to the Canandaigua Medical Group's obstetrics gynecology locations in Geneva and Canandaigua. Kendall, a resident of Lyons, has more than 20 years of experience in nursing. She most recently worked as a bedside emergency department charge nurse at Clifton Springs Hospital and Clinic. In addition to emergency care and OBGYN, her clinical training also includes family medicine, pediatrics, cardiology, and urgent care. Kendall graduated in December 2025 at St. John Fisher University in Rochester with a Master of Science as a family nurse practitioner and has a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Utica University in Utica, New York. She is a member of the American Nurses Association and the Emergency Nurses Association. Thompson's OBGYN practice has 4 locations and is an affiliate of F.F. Thompson Hospital. Next, we have a notice from Wayne County Public Health. Wayne County Public Health Children and Youth with Special Healthcare Needs Program. Do you have a child ages 0 to 21 with a special healthcare need? Are you looking for resources or referrals for your child? Please contact the Children and Youth with Special Need Healthcare Needs Program at 315-946-5749. Next, from the Money and Business page, an article by Devin Holdraker, Workin' on the Dock of the Bay. Liz Harris grew up spending summers at her family's property on Leroy Island in Sodus Bay. My parents brought me straight from the hospital to Oak Park Marina without even stopping at home, and I was on their sailboat at just 54 hours old. So after attending Finger Lakes Community College for business and marketing, she started down a path that led her back to where it all started. After spending a few years down south working and learning about the boating industry, Liz eventually made her way back to the area and founded Harris and Helm, a marine marketing and communications company. So many of our local marine businesses were doing incredible work but needed more support in positioning themselves and sharing their stories. Liz says she has been helping clients like Fleet Boat Club craft their marketing campaigns to reach the right customers both here in Wayne County and across the area. Harris and Helm has grown into the global marine manufacturing market, but the local boating community that inspired the company always remains at the heart of what we do. While her client list has grown, she says the operation is still being run largely from her laptop on her family's dock. I've realized that many young people growing up on the water may not realize that their interests can become real careers within the larger marine industry or our local community. She encourages anyone considering their own business based on their interests should dive in. My advice would be to not wait until you feel completely ready. Become involved in the community, stay curious, and look for opportunities to contribute to something you genuinely care about. Learn more about Liz and her business at the website of Harris and Helm. Next, letters to the editor. Make America Stable Again. For more than 2 centuries, the peaceful transfer of power stood as the foundation of American greatness and stability. That was until January 6, 2021. Before that day, we stood as the brightest light of liberty and democracy that the world had ever known. Lady Liberty lit the way for us. We can regain our former greatness and stability. The answer is simple. In close elections, after the courts have decided the winners and losers, we accept those results. In a democracy, there is always a next time. Submitted by Anthony Joe Yanda of Lyons, New York. Our next letter to the editor. Sad to hear of demise of Williamson Ambulance. With a heavy heart that I read about the financial troubles with the Williamson Volunteer Ambulance Service. Sam Gallo was instrumental in getting the ambulance service going in 1970 to relieve Gordon Young, the funeral director, who handled all the calls. Phil Dean, Bob Hopkins, and others were also tireless founding volunteers, helping the community with this service. I was one of the original members. I can remember going on calls with Phil and driving through snowstorms to the hospital in Sodus with white knuckles. With all of the new training requirements demanded of volunteers, it is probably inevitable that the service must transition to a paid service, but it does not diminish all the efforts in the past by those dedicated volunteers. Williamson has a rich history of volunteerism, and that should be cherished. Submitted by Chuck Wells, Litchfield Park, Arizona. And our last letter to the editor. Macedon Library is a treasure. I am a big fan of the Macedon Public Library. I visit the library frequently to borrow books, exercise, and donate food and supplies. For exercise, I attend the Drums Alive class, and it is a perfect illustration of what the library brings to the community. The class is made up of senior women, some younger women, and on occasion a few brave men. In this class, we work on coordination, cognition, and cardio through music and movement. We also laugh, chat, and support each other. In previous months, we were joined by residents of Wayne ARC. I hope they can join us again soon. Thank you, Macedon Public Library, for all that you do. Submitted by Eileen Conway, Macedon, New York. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Times of Wayne County on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next, from the Law and Order section of the paper, Sheriff's Corner. In June, I attended the National Sheriff's Association Summer Conference in Omaha, Nebraska. As chairman of the Northern Border Security Committee, it was there that I presented to the Border Security Committee regarding New York's northern border situation. Included in my report was an overview of the legislation that was passed in Albany recently, which terminates and prevents sheriff's contracts to locally house federal prisoners and limits cooperation with the federal government regarding illegals, amongst other provisions that were born from the rhetoric. Let me be very clear. I have no plans to discontinue what I believe is necessary to keep the citizens of Wayne County safe. I have met with representatives of the migrant community, and I have ongoing communication with federal law enforcement. We have a balance of communication and cooperation in Wayne County that keeps everyone's safety in mind. That will not change. The sheriff's office will weather the storm from those who would embrace politics over public safety. This legislation is an overreach and a breach of not only federal law, but a roadblock to keeping Americans safe. More to come on that topic. Highlights from the Sheriff's Office in May and June. From May 3rd to May 9th, we celebrated National Corrections Officer Week. This was an opportunity to recognize the professionalism, dedication, and hard work of our corrections officers who keep our facility safe, secure, and in good working order. From May 10th to May 16th, we celebrated National Police Week. We proudly honored the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers while remembering those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. On May 12th, Deputy Sheriff recruits Preston Berrios and Andrew Gabbard graduated from the CNY Regional Law Enforcement Academy. Their accomplishment marks the beginning of promising careers serving the residents of Wayne County. On May 28th, we hosted our third annual awards ceremony. It was a great evening to be able to honor some of our accolades and accomplishments throughout 2025. We are proud to recognize the exceptional service and commitment displayed by the men and women of our office and some very exceptional people in our community. On June 5th, Court Security Officer Eric Meisner officially graduated at the top of his class from the New York State Basic Course for Peace Officers in Onondaga County. Fantastic job, CSO Meisner. On June 25th, Sheriff Milby spoke to the Palmyra Senior Citizens Group about the Yellow Dot program and common scams that continue to target our seniors. Educating our senior community remains an important part of our commitment to crime prevention and public safety. On June 29th, we hosted our third annual K9 fundraiser golf tournament at the Ontario Golf Club. This year, the tournament raised just over $16,000, and tournament sponsor, Sean FICO, committed to another future K9 purchase. It was during our first tournament in 2024 that Sean, owner-operator of the Ontario Golf Club, committed to a K9 purchase. At this year's event, we were able to introduce him to Johnny, a black German Shepherd who is our newest K9 deputy. Johnny was named after K9 handler Deputy John Heckel, who passed before he was able to retire in 2006. Deputy Heckel is buried with his K9 partner, Ivo, a black German Shepherd who passed in 2005. At that tournament, we also retired Deputy Heckel's radio number 429. The Heckel family was present for the ceremony held in John's honor. You can visit the Wayne County Sheriff's website to view career announcements and information about your sheriff's office. As always, you can see what is going on from day to day by visiting our Facebook page. If you would like to speak to someone at the sheriff's office, you can contact them at 315-946-9711. Be well, Rob Milby, Sheriff. Next, from the sports section, annual golf tournament raises over $50,000 to support the ARC of Wayne Foundation. Despite soggy conditions on a Monday morning in June, spirits remained high at Wayne Hills Country Club as the ARC of Wayne Foundation celebrated a record-breaking 44th annual golf tournament. Thanks to the generosity of sponsors, golfers, volunteers, and community supporters, this year's event raised $50,400, the highest amount in the tournament's history, to benefit the people and programs of the ARC Wayne. The sold-out field of golfers was welcomed by the ARC Wayne Chief Executive Officer Melissa Kumke before teeing off for a day of competition and community support. The annual tournament brought together businesses, community leaders, and supporters for a day of friendly competition and philanthropy, all united by a shared commitment to creating opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities throughout Wayne County. The funds raised will directly support the ARC Wayne's programs and services, helping individuals of all ages achieve greater independence, inclusion, and quality of life. Each year, we're amazed by the generosity of our community, and this year's tournament exceeded every expectation, said David Johnson, director of the ARC of Wayne Foundation. Setting a new fundraising record is a testament to the incredible commitment of our sponsors, golfers, volunteers, and donors. Their support helps ensure that the ARC Wayne can continue providing life-changing opportunities and services to the people we support every day. The tournament's premier sponsor was Lions National Bank, whose continued partnership helped make the event possible. The ARC of Wayne Foundation also extends its sincere appreciation to its major sponsors, including Alira Group, Eli and Lean, Mead Malloy Agency, Wegmans, Alesco Advisors, the Bonadio Group, Dryden Mutual Insurance Company, Reliant Credit Union, Security Mutual Insurance Company, Right Choice Construction, and Wayne Cooperative Insurance Company. Their generous support was instrumental in making this year's tournament a record-breaking success. On the course, the foursome of Brian Manctolo, Matt Barr, Jim DeCola, and Jason Clark captured the tournament championship. Golfers also competed in several special contests throughout the day. The Bill Patterson Memorial Putting Contest, sponsored by Wayne Cooperative Insurance Company and honoring tournament founder Bill Patterson, was won by Matt Tanner. In addition to the golf competition, participants enjoyed a Yeti cooler raffle, sponsored by Dobbins Drug, which was won by Ron Chase, as well as silent auctions and a celebratory dinner that helped contribute to the day's record-breaking fundraising total. We are incredibly grateful to every sponsor, volunteer, golfer, donor, and committee member who helped make this event such a tremendous success, said Melissa Kumke, Chief Executive Officer of the ARC Wayne. Their generosity extends far beyond a day on the golf course. It creates opportunities, strengthens our community, and helps ensure that the people we support have access to the resources they need to live meaningful, fulfilling lives. For more information about the ARC of Wayne Foundation, or to learn how you can support its mission, visit its website or contact David Johnson at 315-331-7741. Also on the sports page, Williamson Track and Field Represents at States by Joanna Alexander, Williamson Central School District. Saturday, June 13th and Sunday, June 14th, Williamson was represented at Webster Schrader for the New York State Track and Field State Meet. It is a huge accomplishment to qualify for states. Williamson sent athletes for 7 different events, and our athletes had some remarkable performances. The many student athletes listed in this article are too many to read. Lastly, the track and field team would like to thank the parents, school, and town for all the love and support. A special recognition to our Williamson Fire Department for organizing a parade for winning sectionals and recognizing the athletes who qualified for states by driving them to school. Thank you for the special memories. And lastly, we have our Humane Society of Wayne County Pets of the Week from 1475 County House Road in Lyons. You can call the Humane Society of Wayne County at 315-946-3389. Creamy is a 3.5-year-old neutered, male, short-haired, orange and white kitty. He is sweet but timid. He will run into his condo where he feels he's safe. He loves to snuggle when you hold him. He enjoys playing with toys. He seems to like dogs but would prefer to be the only kitty. He is independent and looking for a calm and patient person as his new family. He is looking for someone that will give him time to learn about his new surroundings. If you're interested in meeting him, please contact the shelter to make sure he is not at one of our off-site adoption centers. Creamy is available through our Adult Companion Program to those who qualify. Russell is a 3-year-old neutered male white and black mixed breed dog. He came to the shelter as a stray. We are still learning about him every day. He knows how to walk on a leash. He enjoys playing with toys and likes other dogs. He is a happy little guy. Russell is available through our Adult Companion Program to those who qualify. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the August 2nd issue of the Times of Wayne County. Your reader has been Karen. Thank you for listening.